So, this is the summary for the topic that we present today. Basically, Daisy Care Shelter is a homeless shelter that provides temporary residence for homeless individuals and families. The purpose of this shelter is to provide residents with safety and protection from exposure to the weather, simultaneously reducing the environmental impact on the community.
As you can see, our project title is Daisy Care Shelter. There are 3 objectives that we need to obtain from this project. Firstly, we are able to construct 2-story building for the homeless and the people in need within the time given. Secondly, we are able to utilize the materials and resources within budget. And lastly, we are able to incorporate environmental friendly building using sustainable elements with aesthetic value. The start date to finish date is from 1st of January 2024 to 1st of January 2025, in which this project will take 12 months duration. Cost of this project is 850,000 ringgit. And the location for this project is at Jalan Tugu, Kuala Lumpur, as shown in the map above. This 2-story building will consist of 2 levels. First floor will consist a lounge, a cafeteria, 2 separate gender washroom, a management office, a health center, 2 large rooms with 40 beds and a laundry room. Meanwhile, in the second floor, there will be a care center, a foyer, 2 large rooms with 60 beds and 2 separate gender washrooms.
Homelessness is an issue that has been increasing rapidly around the world, which violates the sovereignty of human rights. On a daily basis, we can see men wandering around the streets with their last goods from the supermarket, and there are ladies curled up on folded boxes under the bridges. Families, usually made of mothers and kids, are begging for food and place to live. Although there are many different types of homelessness, poverty is usually the significant factor in the majority of the cases. However, it is believed that every single person on this earth deserves to have a place that they can call home. Usually, a high-income nation that advances in technological development and socioeconomics will only show the good and beautiful side of their country in order to show dominance and to attract tourists. However, there is also a nasty homeless-filled side that is not shown to the world. Homeless people are those who fall under marginalized groups and experience social exclusion, which is connected to problems with daily life that includes economic factors such as income levels that are below the per capita income level or poverty line income. Based on the standard measure in Malaysia, from a socio-economic perspective, Malaysia's homeless people also satisfy the definition of poverty. According to a statistic by the Malaysia Social Welfare Department, there were 1,934 people that were recognized as homeless in the year 2009, and the number has spiked up to 2,278 people in 2016. The statistics show a massive growth every year, which will negatively affect countries' development.
And here is my teammate. The first one is Aliani Sharzmin binti Arshad as Project Manager. The second one is Nur Zulaika binti Zaharuddin as Head of Consulting Engineer. And the last one is me, myself, Nurul Fatia Azhara binti Muhammad Zailani as H&R Director. Sunnyside Consultant and Engineer. Who is this organization? Okay, Sunnyside Consultant and Engineer is an organization that is responsible for managing and executing a wide range of projects and activities related to engineering and technology. The objective of this organization are to design, develop and implement innovative solutions to address various challenges. They are well suited to undertake the project of building a homeless shelter, as this organization possesses the technical knowledge and skills necessary for designing and constructing buildings. By undertaking the project of building homeless shelters, they demonstrate their dedication to make a positive impact on society and improve the life of vulnerable individuals. They have shown a genuine interest and understanding of the needs and challenges faced by the homeless population that allow them to design shelters that address specific needs, ensure accessibility, and foster a supportive environment. Okay, here the organization chart. The mission of this organization. Here the organization chart. Next, the mission of this organization is to design and build safe, sustainable, and inclusive homeless shelters that provide temporary housing and support services to people who are homeless in order to help them regain stability, dignity, and opportunities for a better future. For the vision is, we envision a society in which everyone has access to safe and decent housing, fostering a sense of belonging and empowering people to overcome the cycle of homelessness.
Next, the scope and context. In this project, a proposal of approval is sent to the Majlis Bandaraya Kuala Lumpur for land release. The labor, machinery of current technology, materials and resources will be provided based on the calculated budget. There is a slight problem that is uncontrollable, which is the weather. The weather will affect the construction of the project. The safety and health law will be strictly implemented in the construction site. To achieve the objective of this project will be using sustainable materials and resources. And the construction of the project will be finished within the time given using material, resources and budget. Scope of the project are consultation of project team, preparing site like site investigation, the order of machinery, materials and resources within budget, and the last one is the construction of the project. Next is the outscope of the project are, we need to wait for the approval for releasing the land for construction purposes from the Majlis Bandaraya Kuala Lumpur. Then, it is not our job of scope to market and advertise the finished product. Same goes to hiring staff and services. There are 4 stages to successfully complete this project within the time where they are defining, planning, executing and delivering phase. In defining phase, a detailed timeline will be prepared such as the outline of the major activity, milestone of the project and others. The documents for authorization of the project, construction, work scope and initial high-level plan will be prepared. And lastly, the approval letter and permit for the construction from the authorized organization will be prepared. Next, in the planning phase, we need to plan the schedule to construct the building, then plan the cost of labor, machinery, materials and resources within the budget. We also need to plan the architectural drawing and engineering design for the plumbing and wiring system. In addition, we need to plan the strategy acquiring necessary materials and equipment for the construction phase. Lastly, we need to plan the risk assessment and secure the health and safety regulation on the construction site. In the executing phase, we make the site preparation, update the construction progress, the completion of building structure, then install the utilities and interior finishes, and lastly, measure the safety and security. Then, in the delivering phase, there will be a final inspection and certification, occupancy permit, and as-built documentation. And the last one is training and handover to the client. In the technical requirement for this project, ventilation system where it should meet Malaysian building codes and regulation and provide fresh air circulation throughout the facility. Next, HVAC maintenance where it should include regular inspection to prevent system failure and ensure a healthy indoor environment. Alarm and emergency notification system should be also equipped to ensure timely response and communication in case of emergency. surveillance system where the shelter should be equipped with surveillance system that covers critical area within the facility including entrance, common areas and external perimeter, the wiring system, plumbing and the drainage system. For the project exclusion are outreach and homeless prevention program, support service staffing and operational policy and procedure.
Next is the importance of the project. Homelessness serves a huge impact to the well-being of communities, such as physical and behavioral health issues. Homeless people are usually exposed to chronic illnesses, infectious infections, mental illnesses, and substance use disorders. Malnutrition, dehydration, and exposure to substances are more likely to affect homeless people who often have no access to health services. Other than that, lack of social support and isolation from society created due to homelessness may exacerbate psychological disorders and make it more difficult for those suffering to access services and support. Last but not least, homeless people are prone to face legal obstacles while trying to access housing, employment, and other services. They are also more likely to be involved in the system of criminal justice, either as offenders or victims of the crime. According to a data released by Dewan Bandaraya Kuala Lumpur (DBKL) in May 2017, there were 1,037 homeless people who were recognized by the authorities, including 15 children and 15 key hotspot zones around the city of Kuala Lumpur. 90% of the homeless people who were counted were men. Women are more likely than men to turn to family members or to look for other forms of refugee, like boarding houses, because they view these options to be safer than rough sleeping. From the data, it is shown that the amount of homeless people in the city of Kuala Lumpur is at a worrying level. Homeless people at the places shown in the data came from diverse races and ethnicities, which includes Malay, Indian, Chinese, and also others. Refugees from other countries who came to Malaysia for protection from their country also contribute a huge amount to the number of homeless people in Kuala Lumpur. Other than that, immigrants that were exploited by employers also became homeless due to low wages. Hence, we decided to construct a shelter at an empty land in Jalan Tugu, as it is located in the centre that connects different parts of Kuala Lumpur. From the data shown before, the total number of homeless people around the city of Kuala Lumpur that were recorded is 1,037 people, which is considered extremely high. However, the number of government centres and housing provided is relatively low. Up to this day, there are only 9 temporary shelters for homeless people that were recorded around Kuala Lumpur, which are Anjung Singgah, Pusat Transit Gelandangan Kuala Lumpur, Pusat Transit Gelandangan Jalan Ipoh, Pusat Transit Gelandangan Jalan Pahang, Pusat Transit Gelandangan Jalan Hang Tuah, Desa Bina Diri, Kajian dan Amal Sosial Kasih Homeless Centre, Rumah Kasih Harmoni and Taman Seri Putri Homeless Centre. The operation of all the temporary shelters that have been established is on a small scale, hence it could not cater to the high amount of homeless people. Our project is relatively similar to the other temporary homeless shelters in terms of functionality. However, most of the homeless shelters in Kuala Lumpur that were established are limited to 1 or 2 types of function at most. We believe that our project of constructing a homeless shelter meets the demands needed, since the number of existing ones are low and could not accommodate a large number of homeless people. Other than that, our project has plus points compared to others, since it is a one-stop center that could accommodate several activities at one time, such as temporary lodging, healthcare center, and enhancement programs. Hence, the loads at other smaller shelters can be reduced. The location of our proposed project is also very strategic, since it is located at the center of Kuala Lumpur that connects different parts of the city. Therefore, it is easy to access since the location of homeless people is randomly scattered around different parts of Kuala Lumpur. In addition, the building that will be constructed will implement sustainable development in order to reduce greenhouse effects and overall operation costs. In order to estimate the project duration, we use the Gantt chart method. For drawing and permit, it started from the first month until the third month. Buying materials started from the second month until the fourth month. Site clearing and excavation started from the third month until the fifth month. Steel erection started from the sixth month until the seventh month. Plumbing installation started from the sixth month until the seventh month. Masonry work started from the 8th month until the 9th month. Electrical installation started from the 8th month until the 11th month. Building finishes and furnishing installation started from the 10th month until the 12th month. Closing and handover started from the 11th month to the 12th month. So it is estimated that the project will take about 1 year. For resources and finances, type of sources, first financial, which is obtained from the client, which is the government and non-governmental organisation who will be funding the project. Next is material, which is obtained from supplier of the materials, and the last one will be human, which is obtained from workforce. Next is major costs. First is operating expenses such as labour salaries. Second is cost of materials such as payment for materials needed for construction phase. And the last one will be cost of equipment, which is the payment for equipment needed for pre-construction and construction phase. For revenue streams, our sales revenue is obtained from selling services since we are the consultant and project engineers. Our project doesn't have tangible or intangible profit since it is a one-off payment type of profit. The rough estimation of profit is around 100,000 ringgit. The characteristic that is needed in our project team is first, teamwork. Every team member must work well together and support each other to avoid unnecessary problems within the organisation. Second is effective communication. Every team member needs to communicate effectively with the stakeholders to make sure they are always updated and aware if there are any changes. The third one will be experience. Every project is unique. Hence, different skills are needed to make sure the project goals are achievable. And the last one will be responsible. Every team member needs to be responsible and take accountability for every decision they make. As you can see, this is the breakdown of our project budget. The total cost to complete this project is 850,000 ringgit. For parties, agencies and partner, first we have government agency, which is the Department of Social Welfare of Malaysia. So this agency will provide funding in terms of money for the construction of the building and 75% of consulting company costs. And the second one is non-governmental agency, which is Pusat Transit Gelandangan Kuala Lumpur. This agency will provide funding in terms of money for the interior part of the project and 25% of consulting company cost. As you can see, this is the confirmation letter from Pusat Gelandangan Kuala Lumpur and Department of Social Welfare of Malaysia.
There are 6 keys that we will undertake in this project. The first one is project planning. The second one is research and analysis. The third one is design and development. The fourth one, testing and quality assurance. The fifth one is risk management. And the last one is training and support. For this slide, it shows the completion of milestone. The work have already been planned before the project starts. The estimated time for this project complete is 1 year. This is work breakdown structure and project network plan.
Next, in the risk assessment and mitigation plan. The list of risks are like the above. Budget, where risks of estimating the budget due to high cost of machinery and material. Work environment, where safety risks of the contractors, workers and employees during construction. Communication, such miscommunication between the contractor and the consultant. Weather, there will be delay of construction due to the heavy rain and muddy site. Meanwhile, for sweltering day, it will be affect the workers' health, such as stroke heat. And lastly, schedule the delivery time of the material and equipment for the project to arrive. This is the risk assessment form, where we can see that the risk assessment for budget, the likelihood is 2, impact to the project is 4, detection difficulty is 2, and it is usually occur at the start-up of the construction. Next, for work environment, likelihood is 4, impact is 5, and detection difficulty is 5. For communication, likelihood is 2, impact is 5, and detection difficulty is 2. Next, for weather, the likelihood is 1, impact is 3, and detection difficulty is 5. 3 of these risk assessments occur during the construction. The last one is schedule. Likelihood is 2, impact to the project is 3, and the detection difficulty is 1, and this occur when pre-construction. This is the risk severity matrix table. As you can see that weather is in the white area, where it means that this risk will not affect much the project. Meanwhile, for schedule and budget are in the yellow zone, and the work environment and communication are in the red zone. Next, for the risk response development, for budget, mitigation, for work environment, communication and weather, avoiding the risk. And the last one is schedule, which we respond to retain the risk. Next, for the expected impacts and benefit, budget and resource management, time and schedule management, stakeholder engagement, sustainability and long-term impact, quality assurance, and lastly, collaboration and partnership opportunity.
There are several aspects to consider when it comes to intellectual property, which is IP, for a homeless shelter project. Intellectual property is primarily concerned with legal rights to mental creations such as inventions, designs, logos, and written content. While some aspects of a homeless shelter project may be ineligible for intellectual property protection, there are still areas where IP considerations may be relevant. Here are few highlights. First one, branding and logo. Second, design and architecture. The third one is software or technology status, and the last one is documentation and written content.
For approval and customer review, first we have declaration and details of ownership. A declaration of ownership is a claim made by an individual or organization stating that they are the owner of an asset or property. The declaration is made so that the actual owner can defend themselves by using this document as legal evidence. The detail of ownership usually include personal information such as name, address, and contact information. It might also include information regarding the assets. However, it is very advisable for every owner to keep additional documentation regarding their assets or properties just in case there are any potential disputes regarding the ownership. Next is agreement of expectations. In every project management, all the stakeholders such as client, contractors, suppliers, and others should have aligned visions and understanding of expectations regarding the objectives of the project, key deliverables, and the work scope. All the things that has been agreed by each stakeholders should be documented in a project charter or scope statement. This would be used as a medium of communication between stakeholders, and it must be updated regularly throughout the project. Next, it is very crucial for the documents with all the things that were agreed to be formally signed by all the stakeholders as a proof of their agreement and commitment to meet the expectations. Last but not least is the agreement of risk. All stakeholders, especially the clients, need to understand that every single project is unique and carries different type of risk. It is very crucial to identify all the potential risks that might occur during project life cycle by performing risk assessments. The impact of the risk toward the project must be recognized and strategized to mitigate or avoid them. All the stakeholders must be fully aware of the risk and make agreements before proceeding with the project. The agreement should include a disclaimer and claims in their clause. Disclaimer is a statement that states the limitations and scope of the project. This is very important as it can be used as evidence to protect the project team if any stakeholders were to take any legal action towards them. Claim is a declaration where the outcomes and potential benefits that are achievable and realistic. This must be supported with a clear and detailed plan such as risk mitigation plan.